Hey everyone, it's Teresa with Jeremiah Dreams, coming to you with some late night creativity and continuing work on our, there goes my little dog barking, on our third hymn project. I've had a crazy day, so I thought I'm going to do this before I go to bed tonight. So we're going to jump right in. I do want to post a comment on some things that you may want to know. For instance, my workshop. Um, let's see. What all have I got in there? My Etsy shop, my YouTube page. I should have put my Facebook page in there too because we're also broadcasting to YouTube. Sorry, my brain cells are very diminishing by the minute. So we better get right into our project. I'm going to increase our view here so you can kind of see what we're doing, and let me bring you on over where you can be more on top. Hey, Kim and Lisa. Thank you guys for being here. I know it's late, y'all, but I just have kind of settled down. I've been listening to um, an event that my business coach had going on, and so I've been listening to that and trying to learn some things. And I thought, oh, I need to get this done. So I wanted to come on in, and hey, I'm so glad to see you guys. Thank you for being here. I want to come in and start working on this some more. Now, when we left off the other night, we got the leaves in pretty good shape, and we were working on these little hollyhocks. And I want to kind of pick up right there, and I keep watching your comments. So I have my camera here and my laptop here, and it's kind of crazy. But y'all, I'm seeing your comments. Hey, Lisa, thank you for sprinkling. And Brenda, how are you? Thank you for being here. So let's get some detail on these little guys. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to bring y'all real close to these flowers that we're going to be working on, because you're going to want to see how we achieve some detail. And hopefully this kind of view will really help you out. All right, I'm going to need to get a really fine detail brush, and I've got a couple I like to use. Here's one, and it's a nice small round brush. Oh, Kim. Hey, Janice, how are you, my friend? Listen, you can learn. I've not always painted like this. This has been a process and a journey, but you can do it too. I've even got a workshop that's very reasonably priced. I would love to have you come in and learn. We're getting ready to begin our August project, and it's going to have the theme of school because it's back to school time. Hey, Tara, how are you, my friend? I'm so glad to see you. So I don't want to reveal too much. Hey, Miss Judy, thank you for being here. But it's going to be school related, and I think it's going to be very cool. So I use a small round brush like this, but if I really want some fine detail, this brush is a Ruger brush. I think that's correct. Did I say that? Yes, a Rigger, excuse me. And I love these long bristles, and when you get them wet, they get very fine. Your hand shakes. I see, Kim. Girl, that is rough stuff. Listen, when I moved last year, I moved from the house I sold, and I had to live with my mother for 2 or 3 months. And I was moving a really heavy box. And listen, I think I injured my shoulder. All of a sudden, it just went weak. And I didn't really remember feeling pain at the time, but just sudden weakness. And I've struggled with it. Like when it first happened, it was very painful. And then as time has gone on, it's improved. And I did go to an orthopedic physician to have it seen and x-rayed. And that was kind of the consensus, was that I had injured my shoulder. But he wasn't recommending surgery or anything. He thought I had some carpal tunnel going on. I'm like, I don't really think this is a carpal tunnel issue right here, right now. I don't know. It just was leading into some tests that seemed to me a bit unnecessary. So I've kind of struggled with it. It's much better, but it gives me a problem every now and then. It's my left shoulder. So I haven't had a broken shoulder, but I understand shoulder struggles. Um, hey, Marley Grace, what am I using to do this camera, this is a webcam running through my laptop, and then I also have my phone to do this view, and I'm using StreamYard. Hey, Darlia, how are you, my friend? Thank you, Patricia. Thank you for being here. So, y'all, I want to add some details to our little hollyhock. So, I'm hoping with you guys being really close in here, you're going to pick up on some of this. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mix a gray color, and I'm going to use various shades of gray. So, I honestly am just using white and black to kind of get my different grades or tones of shadow. Okay, and I just kind of mix it. I'm going to spin the excess off and get a nice point on there. And so this lighter gray, I'm actually going to come into, I'm going to take my glasses off. I'll share with y'all before the whole bifocal dilemma. And it's not going to show up super great on here. Yours is your right dominant arm. Oh my goodness, girl. Sometimes when I get really detailed, I have to take my glasses off and get a little closer because the bifocals don't allow me to necessarily always get in the right position. So I'm just adding in some gray tones, and I'm just going to kind of add definition to how these kind of have some detail. And honestly, I'm dotting in a whole lot. And we're going to put some shadow dominant on one side versus another, and just kind of help it to come to life a little bit. Help it to stand out. And we're going to work on that a little bit more too. This is going to be a multiple segmented project because there's a lot of detail, but the detail is worth it, y'all. Got too much paint on my brush. I need to get some of that off. I may have to put my glasses back on anyway because I'm having to get too close. You have the same problem. Hey, Steve, how are you doing? Steve is an old buddy of mine from up in Kentucky. And there was, back in the day, we ran in the same gospel music circle. And we're at a lot of the same, not concerts. I wouldn't really call them concerts, but functions, let's call it that, because they were everything from singings to homecomings and just a lot of different things. Y'all remember back in the day when churches had homecomings? I don't think there's a whole lot of them anymore. I mean, some churches do. I know Trace Creek, where I grew up, still does, but a lot of churches are kind of handling it different than what used to be done. And I think that's awesome because as times change, people change, and the old dinner on the grounds, picnic on the grounds, and those things were always a lot of fun. But times change, people's schedules change, and you just kind of move with the times. All right, so I've added in some gray and shadow to these lilies of the valley. Did I call them hollyhocks a while ago? I think I did. Please forgive me. This is lily of the valley that I'm painting. And it's not looking like a whole lot right now, but we're going to be doing some stuff here that's going to help that come along. Teresa, how are you? And Miss Frida. So Tamara says, I have certain times of the day that your hands shake, and if they start up, you have to take a break. Gotcha. Yes, Kim, this is Lily of the Valley. It sure is. Hey, Tony. Yes, Steve, they were great days. They sure were. Y'all, I'm going to get just a little bit of black, and I'm telling y'all, I'm getting very little. I want to really define these little blooms, and it's a little bit of a challenge because I want to be so careful how much I put on there, but I need them to kind of pop off. I'm going to add a little bit to the stem. Just to help give it some definition. Right along that stem. It's just going to make a big difference. So are y'all ready for Friday? Goodness knows I am. I sure am. Today has been a busy day, and it's been a few weeks of I go to work and think, okay, today I'm gonna accomplish this and this and this, and it just doesn't work out that way. So I'm just having to roll with the punches and just do what I can each day. Can y'all see these? How was my day at work, Kim? My day was pretty crazy. Tony, oh good. I'm glad you love my late night crafting, girl. Teresa, oh, thank you, my friend. Teresa, I think you are my number one fan. Girl, I just appreciate you more than you'll ever know. Oh, at least don't you worry about it. Don't you worry about it. You just don't worry about it. You know what? Life has many, many challenges, and whatever picture might have popped up, I'm not worried about it, girl. So, I didn't have to, well, I did pick up my babies from daycare today, and they're just so fun, y'all. Charlie, she's at that really fun age where she's she's walking, but it's like her brain is faster than her body, and she'll start off and she'll get all excited, and oh, it's just such a joy. I'm so thankful I get to be here with them and experience all this fun stuff. Um, and then Elena will start chasing her, and she gets all excited, and it all gets up in her shoulders. The excitement does, and she comes running to you and hides her face. It's just the most precious thing. I'm so glad I get to experience this. My mother and I were talking today how that when my daughter was a baby, we lived in Nashville at the time and about 2.5 hours away. And she said she just felt like she missed out on so much of her life because of the distance. But it was what it was. I mean, you just had to make the best of it. So I'm so thankful the Lord's allowed me to move closer and help the kids with the girls and picking them up and keeping them some and just whatever they need. It's just such a joy. So, hey, Wendy, you're getting two of your grands tomorrow. Oh, girl, you're going to be very outnumbered, aren't you? Oh, it's an hour later, Karen. Girl, thank you for being here. Oh, my goodness. So, Wendy, did you get to sit in on any of Serena's coaching? I listened to some of it. I didn't get to listen to all of it. But our friend Katie, Creative Crafting by Katie, was in a challenge. So I watched her, but my phone kept ringing and I had to pop in and out. I'm going to get a little water on my brush to help thin this black out a little bit because it will flow so much better. Make sure I don't have too much water on my barrel. So is it popping out? Can y'all see a difference? I want to be careful, and I may tone down some of this black a little bit. Just kind of going to one side of these little flowers so that they just kind of pop a little bit. What do y'all think? I'm trying to. These tones are so similar. I was trying to remember where I had kind of placed these stems. I think this is going to turn out very sweet. So, oh, Stephen, thank you. Thank you, Elsie. You had your craft round the clock event then. Oh, gotcha. I see. Elsie, thank you for spreading the blessings, girl. That makes such a huge difference. And if y'all would please do that, I would be ever so grateful. for spreading. I finally got over 6,300 followers. I'm just so thankful. Hoping to continue to grow, and y'all, I just have such a desire to share what the Lord's given me. Got a little bit too much right there. And just make my life count, y'all. He's given us abilities that were not meant to be kept under a bushel. No, we're supposed to let our lights shine. And I'm trying very hard not to outline, but to enhance. And the difference is you're not going all the way around the perimeter, but you're trying to imitate shadow. And that makes a huge difference. Now, when we get over here on top of these tone-on tones with the greens, we're going to have to add just a little more of this black. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pick up some white and put a little more of this. I'm going to offload a little bit of this. A little more gray in these blooms, just to, because when you look at how they're shaped, there's a little bit of like cupping, I guess you could say. I'm just going to kind of put in some of these folds. And hopefully, I'm going to add a little more white. Because I want to be careful not to have harsh lines. I really like suggestions of lines, but I want to imitate that detail and not just look like a cone shaped. And so when you kind of encounter situations like this where you're trying to imitate nature, you really have to kind of slow down and think about what things are looking like and shaped like. And I had too much water on my brush. Let me pick that up. So if you have something like that where I had some bleeding going on there, all you have to do is dry your brush off and go over there and it will pick it right up. I'm trying to get this to actually work in my favor. I about got it, I think. I need a little more white right there here. Like so. So I'm going to lay in these black places and then I'm going to come back with some white and kind of go on top of it just to help settle that black down. Here we go. Have I thought about rain droplets? I have thought about that. I haven't decided if I'll do that on this, but y'all, when I was in art school, I will never forget this, and I've done it a few times, how to take just a pencil and to bring a raindrop to life. And I'll have to show y'all sometime. We'll have to do that as a project. It's really kind of cool. I'm just toning down this black that I just put in there just by adding some white. And y'all, we're not going to be on here super long and late because it is a later time. But I wanted to get some of this done. I wanted to come and work on this a little bit tonight. I'm just touching in white. Y'all, I had the weirdest dream last night. I dreamed, I don't know what made me dream this. I dreamed I was riding a motorcycle. Do y'all know how long it has been since I have been on a motorcycle? It has been years. You want to learn how to do the pencil droplets? We'll have to explore that. Yes, baby tulips. That's a very good way to look at it. I know Wendy is going to be here soon. It's going to be here soon. I've got to get our resource together. Hey, Kimberlyn, how are you? I'm so glad you're here. Hi, Regina. How are you doing? So I have not been sealing these. Now, um, thank you, Teresa, for painting the blessings. Oh, no, this is not a paint marker. This is a paintbrush. A paintbrush. Um, what was I going to say? Someone said something and it made me think of something. Oh, sealing. So I have when I paint with pencil. When I do drawings, I have sprayed it with a fixative. Um, you have to kind of watch. You need to get a product that specifies it's for charcoal or graphite, and because you don't, what you don't want to happen is that the spray would be so fluid that it would smear, and then you want to do it very lightly and do a couple of coats in between. So I have done some graphites. I want to bring in here what I did of my daughter. I'm trying to remember how long ago was that. She was little, like 4 or 5 years old, and I did a portrait of her. So I'm trying. I know these flowers are coming out a little more gray than Lily of the Valley is, but I'm trying to show the shadow and the contrast against these green leaves. If that makes sense. And one thing too, y'all, you gotta be patient and not go too fast through the process. I've been listening to a podcast called The Savvy Painter, and the one I was listening to today talked a lot about finding your artistic voice and finding the thing that gives you joy, and gives you satisfaction. And just the way that she words it all has just been really interesting to me. Y'all might check that out. The Savvy Painter. It's a podcast. I've just really enjoyed it. I'm trying to look now to see which of these little blooms needs some touch up of white. I don't want to totally cover up the gray. I'm just toning and enhancing. But what do y'all think? How do you think this is shaping up? Some of these blooms are going to be easier than others. Have I used hairspray? I have not used hairspray. Hey, Sandy, thank you for being here. The last time you rode a motorcycle, it rode you. Oh, Patricia. Oh, I can imagine. Thank you, Kim. All right. That was a lot of water on that too. Pick up some of this gray that we mixed up a while ago. And y'all, it's really important to learn your paints, to learn how they react, learn how they work, how your brush manages the paints. It's really experimenting. Y'all, if you only knew how many paintings I've really thrown away, um, y'all would be like, no. But I just wasn't happy with them and I didn't want to redo them. I wanted to just start from scratch. Just kind of enhancing some of these through here. And so, you guys, if y'all decide to try painting some Lily of the Valley, make it your own, put your spin on it. I think that is always so interesting, adding a little more white to some of these more gray blooms, especially on one side, because we put the shadow on one particular side, and now we are adding the highlight. I think that might be pretty good. We're going to let this sit like this for now. We may come back to it and do some more, but sometimes that's really important to do some work on it and then come back to it later and see how you feel about it. Sometimes you got to step away a little bit. Let's work on some of these forget-me-nots. We're going to do some of these. I've got several pictures here so that I can see what they look like and how they cluster, how they overlap each other, where the shadows are in that. You see? So I've made several pictures of them. And it's sort of a purple blue color. Let's see. I want to get to that periwinkle blue is what I need. And I'm going to mix it. Let's see what happens. I'm going to let y'all watch. Let's just see what happens. So this is a bright blue by, oops, you can't see, by Apple Barrel. Hey, Beth. You with two of your grandbabies since Monday, and they're like, oh, your house is going to be quiet. Okay, it's a bright blue. And then I've got a purple here. Let's just see what happens. This is Wild Iris. Got something right there. This out of the way. There we go. All right, let's put some of this Wild Iris down and see if we can't get a periwinkle color by blending these. See what happens. Y'all, I used one of my better brushes for Mod Podge and I tried to clean it and it still has some Mod Podge in there. So I'm going to use it right now just to kind of blend. So it's going to be somewhere. I may even pick up some white. What happens if we add some white in here? Ooh, I like it. Look at that. You know, I almost think it's just as fun to mix colors as it is to paint. Look at that. Let's get some more white. So instead of going and buying a bunch, which I have a ton of paint colors, just going to mix a little more white. Let's pull in a little more purple. Oh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? Oops, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bump the camera. Look how that came together. Okay. Let's see if we can't offload some of this. Maybe just a little more blue in there. How about that, y'all? Isn't that a pretty color? Just going to offload it. We'll use some of that paint there too. It is fun, Tamara. Hey, Sharon. How are you? I'm glad you're here, girl. So I'm kind of going for that periwinkle blue color. Got pretty close. All right. We're going to take and we're going to begin to put in some of these forget-me-nots. And they are clustered. I get some of this color that we've mixed. And I know they're small, but they're in the shape of a star also. And not all these are going to be perfect. No flower is, but we're kind of just dotting in stars. So tell me, what hymn is your favorite? And what flower is your favorite? I would love to know. I know a lot of us love the roses. Now I want these forget-me-nots to carry on up into these leaves because I'm trying to really make it like a flower arrangement kind of situation. I was doing that interview with Mel Tuesday night, and she asked me how long I had been singing, and I was 4 or 5 years old when I started singing specials in church, and I will never forget one of my very first solos was, I don't know if y'all ever heard the song Mansion Over the Hilltop. And that was one of my first. So we're just putting in a bunch of these star flowers. I'm just kind of scattering them. And we're going to add more details that are going to really help enhance these. And y'all, I've noticed that the leaves are more low lying for these because they're in clusters, right? Who do I have any forget me not experts on here? Love that song. Oh, Tony, thank you. Victory in Jesus and the Gerber daisies in the garden and carnations. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you so much. Those are some awesome songs. And flowers. Y'all, I really don't think there's a flower I don't like. Now, what I don't want to happen is this to come out looking like a hydrangea. Okay, because those are in balls, and I'm trying to stay away from doing a ball of these little flowers. And if you look closely, in the center of forget me nots, they have white and then they have yellow on top of that. And we'll spread out these little clusters too. So we'll have sections of clusters, but I don't want them to look like a ball, like a hydrangea. I'm really just dotting in star-shaped blooms. And I'm using a rigger brush that I really love using to do detail. Oh, girl, Sharon, I am enjoying my new home. I'll be glad when I get it all settled. I'm so much more settled than I was, but I do still have some boxes in the garage. I have just sort of redone my studio because the way I had it set up just wasn't comfortable, and I had to make a change. Um, and so it's still a mess, but it's better than it was. At least now I can come in here and paint where I've been having to paint in my kitchen a whole lot. Let's get some water going. So if you ever find that your paint gets kind of thick and you're not able to pick it up well, just add a little water to your brush and then put your brush into the paint, and it'll kind of like reactivate it, and you can get going again. Because under these lights, my paints do tend to dry quickly. Amazing Grace and Pennies. Oh, Sharon, thank you so much for spreading the blessings, girl. Makes such a big, big difference. And if any of you are creatives and you're here, feel free to drop your page name or your link and let others know about you. Trying to decide how I want these to fan out. Go ahead and continue down in here a little bit. Oh, I need to go this way a little bit, don't I? Didn't realize I was up too high. Hi, Christina. How are you, my friend? How are you doing? I have not seen you in a while. Hope you're doing well. Just putting in a bunch of these stars, and I'm wanting to begin to fan them out, so to speak. Some paint. And then we're going to start adding the greenery. And I think it's really important too to take into account the shade that the greenery is. Um, we'll put a few more here, and we're going to let these little blooms kind of sit and dry a minute. We're going to work on some greenery and come back and add the centers. So we're just going to let that sit for just a minute. All right. I'm thinking about somewhere. Y'all, my paints are not organized. At one time, I had them pretty organized. Let's see, here's a darker green if I can reach it. It's Christmas green. That is exactly the color I had been using. What is this other shade? This is a Christmas green also. Now look at this. One is Apple Barrel and one is Anita's. But look at the difference in those tones. One is bright and one is more subdued. So I'm actually going to go with the Apple Barrel version. So that's interesting that they're both Christmas green, but oh, good night, Diane. Thank you for being here, lady. And we may use the other one for some highlighting or something. We're going to wrap this up here in just a minute. Y'all can't believe it's been 37 minutes. I'm kind of anxious to kind of get some of these leaves. I'm still using the rigger brush. And when I'm up here in this area, I'm just going to kind of dot in between very lightly. And I didn't want to put this green down first because the blue would have gotten lost, I think. I thought about it, but I decided to just kind of go around them. And if there's any background color coming through, I think that's fine because there's going to be in a bouquet anyway. Y'all, I love the shape notes in this music. Okay, so there's plenty of green there. So we're going to have to work on those little blooms to get them to pop off. It's going to look a little busy and muddied right now, but when we start really adding the details, it's going to be beautiful. Now, when I get up here in these areas, I'm going to start adding little leaves. And I'm kind of just basing them in right now. So it's going to look like a little bit of a hot mess for a bit until we start in with our details. Keeping the leaves small. Actually, could probably go just a little bit bigger. I think it would go a little bit larger, especially around this outer perimeter. They're bigger than the blooms, but they are larger, smaller than these. Then I don't want everything necessarily going the same way. So I'm going to incorporate just a few leaves kind of going contrary and back to dotting in. And this will be a process, y'all. But, don't get in a hurry. If you need to take a break, take a break. We're not going to get this finished tonight. It's going to take another session. That's okay. It's going to be so pretty. Well, it is in my mind. Kind of adding a few more leaves right down through here. And as we're along the outer perimeter, then we're going to have a better shape for our leaves. What do y'all think? Think this is looking like forget-me-nots, or adding just a few leaves right in through there? What are y'all saying? Nothing right now? Y'all are probably about ready for bed like me. I am too. I just wanted to come on and just share a few minutes. Y'all, I need this. This is unwind time. It is helping my brain to let go of the day and just kind of chillax. Just adding our outer perimeter of leaves right now. We're just kind of doing it like little footballs. Making sure y'all can see okay. Hi, Cecile. I'm glad to see you. Loving this. You've missed me painting and Sharon, thank you so much, my friend. You like what I've done? You're heading for bed. I love you too, girl. Oh, listen, you guys inspire me. I'm getting ready to go to bed too, y'all. We'll have to just pick this up. Tomorrow night, I am babysitting. I probably will not get to come live tomorrow night. But Saturday's a new day, and maybe we can do something then. And listen, if you can't join me, there's always the replay, right? And those are just as important as being here with me when I'm live. So there's that. Catch the replay. Go ahead and add some of these leaves up in this area. We're about ready to say, okay, for tonight, this will be it. Just adding some more leaves like in these wider spaces. That'll just help add some interest there. We're going to start dotting in and even around some of these leaves. And we're going to add some detail to these leaves that are going to help them to pop off too. Okay. So y'all, I think we're going to kind of stop right here. We did get some things accomplished tonight, didn't we? It's kind of where we are. Bring this up so you can kind of see a little bit more. And we're going to add more of these leaves through here. This is really going to begin to pop, but I think it's going to look good. Let me just say, I'm not worried about if Lily of the Valley is larger than the Forget-Me-Nots, because even though it's a bouquet, so to speak, to me, it can even be two separate bouquets that converge in one place. So I'm not super worried about perspective. Is that the right word? I can't remember. But I think you know what I'm trying to say. You like this on a music sheet? Thank you. You're still here, Tony. Yay. Thank you, Tamara. Hey, Lisa. How are you? All right, my friends. We're going to say goodnight. We've been on here 45 minutes and my eyes are tired. So I'm going to put my palette in a Ziploc bag so it won't dry out and I can use it the next time I come on here with you. Let me go ahead and do this right here so y'all can see me a little better. But I so appreciate y'all being here with me tonight. It just means everything to me. So y'all get some good rest. Have a wonderful Friday, and I will see you all again very soon. Good night, guys. Love you. Bye.